This is an unbelievable question to ask. After a 2-year career, basically, give or take, Mitch Hooper, is he already in the annals of greatness when it comes to strength and strongmen?
Yeah, 100%. He's king of the corridors in the annals of strength. I mean, you can't crown him number one because it's hard to know exactly where he'll be. Taking all fictional characters out of the past out of it, sorry, P.T. Barnum, or sorry, ancient Greeks, no Hercules. Modern day strength. And he doesn't necessarily look like the strongest man in the world. That's what makes it even more impressive. The guy, it was the way he came on the scene as well. Many guys like 𝐦𝐨𝐿 have been great, but it took him 10 years, 8 years, 7 years to get there. Sven was a world-class bodybuilder and powerlifter before he came to strongman. So were many of these guys. While Mitchell was a kind of slightly dodgy fitness competitor. And I hope he wouldn't mind me saying it. Okay, club runner, marathon runner. There was no 2 hours and 4 minutes or something, but amazing. And then he just went into strongman. And before you know it, I'd heard he pulled 475 in powerlifting in his changeover period. Just that's Mitch. And then suddenly he's the guy. Yeah, he hasn't got any shoulders though, has he? Like spaghetti arms, Yeah, he's all hip power. And then he beats Iron Bibby's axle record. And now he's nearly beaten the 505. It's like a non-stop series of oh my God moments with Mitch Hooper.
I think for me, I remember us being sat there, me, you, Daz, and Mitch, and we were talking to him at World's Strongest Man ahead of the heats, and he was saying big things then. And there was something about the way he was saying it. It wasn't the what, it was the how. You just thought, this guy's got the X factor. We're going to find out if he can deliver on what he's saying. And then his arse is backing up what his mouth is writing checks to. It was extraordinary. And for me, this is bold. If he pulls 505, I think all of a sudden, I'm not necessarily that fussed about counting up international titles. Mm-hmm. I'm not that fussed because to me, there's a skill to consistency, and consistency is one element of strength. Mm-hmm. But do you remember consistency? I think you remember the most consistent footballer or the most consistent athlete. You remember the person you think was the fastest or threw the furthest or jumped the highest. To pull 505 and to simultaneously have the axle world record and to be potentially in the same year world's strongest man if he wins in 25. I find you'd struggle to have a comprehensive argument that he isn't the greatest. I would accept somebody might differ, but you couldn't say absolutely not.
Now, obviously, some of these are contests that I either organise entirely with Darren or help run for World's Strongest Man. But Mitchell Hooper's series of wins, and however many golds in a row it is, and however many podiums, it might not be quite as high as what we've seen in the past. There's a couple of people ahead of him in I think Hapthor, Pudzianowski, and 𝐦𝐸𝐿, maybe Brian as well. Now, Brian did do similar. He didn't do, after a certain period of time, Brian only did the Arnolds and Worlds. So his successes came only at the very highest level. But he was doing it with 6-month gaps, prepping purely for that contest. 𝐦𝐸𝐿 hoovered up every contest he could. Back in the day, there just wasn't that much sponsorship. It wasn't even that much prize money. So he did, I remember him doing like 9 contests in 9 weekends in a row, Imagine doing that, flying from one location to the next, competing. And he was still winning and doing very well. But truth is, the standard of some of those international contests, there would have been, just guys you would have never heard of that he would have, bowled over like little pins, it would have been easy. But Mitch has chosen to, he's not going off and doing, iffy contests somewhere in darkest Poland, and picking up, well, it's hard to take victories there, actually, probably even harder in some ways. But yeah, you know what I mean? He's only going against the best at the very best contests on the most calibrated kit, and he's winning on all these different events time and time again. And he's almost never out of the top 3. That's the scary thing. And what we thought was his weakness, his press, is now not just world class, it's the best, maybe. You know, you'd have to piece together. You'd have to steal Iron Bibby's shoulders and arms. You'd have to then go over and pilfer Hapthor's back. And then whose legs? His legs are outrageous. I don't think anyone else actually could.
Well, his quads are actually mythical.
They're biblical, actually, aren't they? Yeah. It's amazing. And I don't think actually you could find another man. You'd have to steal Jesus Oliveira's legs. But if you put those all together, you probably wouldn't have much fitness mind. You know what I mean? So it'd be an odd-shaped human. But that really is what Mitch has. So I tell you what, Zydrunas didn't have a great grip. The truth was, Zydrunas never did well in very heavy farmers' walks and frame carries. And I don't think he would fight me on that.
For me as well, he's also, Mitch, this is, the most intelligent guy, strategic, employs tactics. I think his name should change from the Moose to the Alien, because how he's doing what he's doing.
From the Moose to the mother brain, he really is. Sometimes when I get near him, I find myself I feel like I'm being controlled by outside forces. He's like, he really is. He really is that smart. He might just be a total polymath. You never know. It'd be interesting to see how he does in business. I bet he's industrious. By God, I bet he'll be if he isn't a titan of YouTube and social media within the next, what he is, climbing fast and gaining followers all the time. And then, how many different things did Arnold do well at? He was a builder, a movie star. Some people just can do it all just by either sheer talent or just industrious, vigor.